guys, so when I asked you on Twitter earlier today what you wanted me to film for No Makeup Monday today, two of you said something relating to serial killers, true crime. One specifically said Charles Manson, and a bunch of people liked it. Well, like 3, but that's a bunch. So I thought I would look into it, see what I could dig up on the man, and we could talk about it or do a video on it. I know you guys love my true crime videos, or, you know, videos relating to serial killers, or, you know, relating it back to psychology. So I thought this topic was very interesting when I was researching, you know, Charles Manson, and I thought it could be a whole video. There are contrasting things going on right now in regards to his body, but I'll get into the different articles and things that I found and all the information that I found. So not one way is like 100% yet, I believe. But it should be finalized in the next 2 days or so, which if you want updates, I might post something on Twitter regarding it. So if you want to follow me there and you can get an update on his body. Is that weird? So in case you haven't heard, Charles Manson passed away on November 19th, which was last Sunday. And I think the world as a whole kind of breathed a sigh of relief when he died, which sounds morbid because he was a human being. And it sounds morbid to be kind of relieved when someone dies, but he was obviously a very morbid, gruesome individual who manipulated a lot of people, you know, from prison and, you know, inside prison and out, and it's just, he was an awful human. I think we can agree on that. Even if he didn't perform any of the Tate murders himself, there are speculations that he could have performed murders before the cult thing happened, although I don't know 100%. I haven't really looked into it that much. If you know more about it, please leave some information down below, but that's not what this video is about. Some people were not so relieved when he died. In fact, there were people mourning his death, which I think innately as people, we have that instinct when someone dies to feel sad, but in this situation you kind of have to rethink about it and put that sympathy and everything, like I said in the Jeffrey Dahmer video, towards the victims. You know, it was a day to mourn the victims, not Charles Manson. It didn't surprise me though that people were saying, you know, R.I.P. Charlie, the flower crown thing. You know, we have that whole community on Tumblr and outside of Tumblr, of course. He has a lot of fans and followers, you know, out of prison, and I don't understand because he literally had a swastika carved in his forehead. So, you know, that's a really good role model and someone to really idolize and romanticize. So what's more interesting about his death, besides the, you know, we're not going to talk about the reaction to his death and everything and how the world responded, because I think we all kind of know, a lot of people talked about it and obviously showed their disdain for people who were mourning his death because that seems strange to mourn a serial killer anyway. But what's interesting is that his body might be donated to medical research, which would be fascinating. However, that might not actually happen. His only known next of kin is a guy named Jason Freeman who lives in Ohio, I believe, or he's from Ohio, something with Ohio. He is the grandson of Charles Manson. His father was the only son of Charles Manson, and he actually committed suicide in 1993. So his body apparently can only be donated if it goes unclaimed for 10 days. Today is day number 9, so it has to be claimed by tomorrow in order for it to not be donated to research. And what had happened is Jason Freeman, his grandson, had created a GoFundMe page to get from Ohio to California, where the body was, or is. But GoFundMe actually shut the page down and canceled all the money because they found out what the page was actually for. Now that's the first thing that I kind of want to talk about, is why I don't know if I should be confused or like happy. I don't understand GoFundMe's perspective on canceling the page, because are they trying to show that they don't have support for the family members of Charles Manson, who they didn't do any, I mean, he did go to jail at some point in his life, but that's irrelevant. He didn't kill anyone, I believe. Or are they trying to say, like, we don't want to support or have anything to do with the claiming of Charles Manson's body? I thought that that was interesting. I don't know if it should have been more of a neutral stance, or, you know, it seemed, or maybe it's obvious that they should have taken the page down so he couldn't go claim his body. I just thought it was an interesting fact that they did that at all. And Jason had actually said that, you know, we'll find another way. There's a lot of people who are in support of it. So I mean, I think he does have the right to go claim it if he wants to. I don't know if I would, but then again, it's not my grandpa. That'd be kind of weird. So there's actually a law that was created in the 1700s that if a body goes unclaimed for more than 10 days, that it could be donated to, you know, medical research or for educational purposes. This law was originally created because researchers didn't have enough donors donating dead bodies for them to study on. But there's a law that is contrasting to that and says that if the body goes unclaimed, the prison has to perform either a burial or a cremation by the state. And so I read another article that said that his body will most likely be buried if it goes unclaimed. So there's a lot of contrasting information out there right now on what's actually going to happen with his body, whether it will be donated to medical research or, you know, I don't know, or if it'll be buried. Well, I think that they would cremate it. My mom says that she read somewhere that it'll be cremated. So there's a lot of info, but we should know in a few days what's actually going to happen. But it gets a little bit more complicated because Manson actually left a will in the hands of his friend, what's his name, Ben Gurecki? I think I'm pronouncing that right. And in his will, he actually left everything to his long-lost son named Matthew Roberts, who is a musician, I guess. And although Manson is very sure that this is his son, they have done DNA tests and it was inconclusive, which we're in 2017. I don't know how that's inconclusive. I don't know. But because of that, they're not sure if this will is actually legally binding in any way. But Ben, Manson's friend, will be meeting up with Matthew next week to talk about the will and see if they can get a hold of the body. He does have Manson that is, has other grandchildren, and they've all been silent in all of this. They probably don't want the body or want anything to do with the body. I personally wouldn't. I don't know. Ben made a quote and I will read it to you. He says that Manson should be given a proper headstone that people can go and steal or break or chip pieces off and spray paint, do whatever the hell they want to do, and I'm going to be responsible for getting it done. I want to give him a proper headstone that memorializes him as a human being, good or bad, I don't care. He said that the headstone would most likely go in Kentucky where his other family members are buried, and what he says where his roots are because he had, you know, a lot of his life in Kentucky, I guess. So the question is, does Manson deserve to have a proper burial at all? Does he deserve to have be cremated? Should he be donated to medical research? Like, there's a lot of question marks. I have a feeling that they're not actually going to be studying him, even though this is such a great opportunity. I feel we as in I didn't, but we as humans, researchers have looked at serial killers' brains in the past. They've dissected, they've researched significantly, and of course we have technology nowadays where we don't have to look at a dead body's brain. We can, you know, do brain scans and things like that. But the fact that we have the brain and we're not looking at it, I think is a mistake. I really think that this would be a lost cause or a lost opportunity if they didn't research it. Of course, we've done a lot of research. We know that these people's brains are significantly different than the healthy brain. However, I don't think you can study it enough. I think if we study it more and more, eventually we might find a possible cure. I don't know if that's too far-fetched to believe that that could actually happen. But I think with enough research it could. I don't know, maybe that's too weird to want to look at a serial killer's brain, but I feel like we have the chance. Like, it's here, and if it goes unclaimed and they just bury him or burn it, I feel like that's a missed opportunity. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts though, if you think that we should look at his brain, or we just don't want anything to do with it and we're just happy he's gone, put him in the ground, burn him, do what you need to do. I still think that we should look at it. I don't know. But also, do you believe that GoFundMe did the right thing in canceling that fundraising page when, you know, his grandson was trying to go and claim the body? What are your thoughts? There's a lot of facets to this story, I feel like, and it's still unfolding, and I don't know if we know for sure yet. By the time this video goes up, maybe more information has come about, but as of right now that I'm filming this is the information that I could find as far as the body and everything like that. Feels weird talking about it. It's a weird time we're living in right now. But yeah, what are your thoughts on everything and his death and the response? I guess we could talk about the response to his death on social media, as disturbing as it is, but leave all your thoughts down below, any other questions that you have regarding it down below, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.